the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast. As always, I'm Ryan, joined by...
I'm Derick.
And I'm Chris.
And today we are talking about fantasy football and specifically recapping each of our fantasy drafts that we've had over the last week or so.
Ooh, yeah, a little retrospective episode.
Yeah, a little reflection and just to see, are we happy with our teams? What do we think? Did we get the players we wanted? Did we get players we didn't think we'd get? And all that good stuff. So to start, I guess we'll go around and we will disclose our drafting position, like what number pick did we have? So for me, I drafted 6th out of 8 teams. And this year, usually my league, we don't know the drafting order until the day of the draft. Like when we arrive, we pick out of a hat usually. This year, we changed things up a little bit. And we actually chose a few days beforehand so we could kind of strategize and, let the pick marinate a little bit, like who we want. And so I got 6, and at that position, I was thinking, I probably would get maybe like a Bijan Robinson, who we talked about a little bit in a previous episode, or maybe like a Nick Chubb, or maybe a receiver, one of the top receivers that maybe fell a little bit. So for me, going in, that's what I was thinking, and what I ended up getting in the first round. None other than the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, who at 6, I personally am very pleased with getting. I could have gotten a running back, I could have gotten like a Nick Chubb or like a Josh Jacobs, but I mean, Tyreek Hill was such a beast last year, especially in with Miami's offense and hopefully a healthy Tua. Too juicy to pass up. So that's who I chose first. So I want to hear from you guys. Derick, who did you pick first? Or start with what selection you had, and then go into who you got.
Yeah. So I got the 8th pick out of 12. Interesting. So you took Hill at
yes.
6th? He went 3rd overall in my league.
Really?
Yeah. But, I mean, when I was picking 8th, it's kind of rough because everyone we talked about, it feels like we talked about 7 people. And those were all the 7 people that went in front of me. We did have 2 auto drafters in front of me, so that kind of, I don't want to say screwed it up a little bit, but I ended up with Bijan Robinson. I am all Bijan'd up in the first round.
All Bijan'd up.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that pick. I think he's going to be a stud this year, as we mentioned previously. Atlanta's going to feed him the rock. So he's going to get his touchdowns. Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
So for me, actually, I pretty much mirrored Ryan. I had the 6th pick, and I also took Tyreek Hill. I'm basing this off of the league that I'm probably the most competitive in. I am in a few other leagues, but this is kind of the league I'm going to take for this episode. So yeah, I drafted Tyreek. My kind of initial thought was to try to use what I've been doing the last couple of years, which is almost like a 0 RB strategy. I've stopped taking running backs in the first round, particularly in this specific league because it heavily rewards receivers. It is, a PPR, a full point per reception, but every 100 yards you get like a 5-point bonus. So you just see a lot of times the receivers can just kind of outpace running backs in terms of scoring. The same bonus applies to running backs, but obviously I think, catching 100 or like receiving for 100 yards is probably a bit easier and more common than rushing for 100 yards. Or at least that can happen in less plays is kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
So I value receivers more overall. So yeah, I took Tyreek. He was the best receiver available at the time, and I agree. you can't. I think, what did he finish? Was he the number 2 or number 3 fantasy wide receiver last year?
I think he was 2. I think he was 2
yeah.
on it. Well, actually, I don't know. He might have been 3 because of the 2 injury. He kind of fell off a little bit towards the end.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, he
right.
was top 5, obviously. You can't. You're not going to find speed like that. And, I agree, I think, with a healthy Tua, but that's the biggest question mark. So that's kind of like, I would say that's a little bit of a knock against him. I don't like first round draft picks having like a contingency. Like, his success is, heavily contingent upon Tua staying healthy, as are most receivers, right? Your starter and quarterback needs to be healthy. But yeah, I'm confident that he won't disappoint. I don't know. The nice thing about Tyreek, though, is you're going to get those weeks where he puts up like 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
So
Who now? You said he was the 3rd receiver taken, or that Derick said he was the 3rd receiver taken.
he was, for me, he was the 3rd. I mean, I think everyone else is going to pretty much be the same. It's going to be Justin Jefferson and probably Jamar Chase off the board before Tyreek, unless you're smoking something. I don't know, but I think that's pretty standard in most people's drafts.
So in my draft, right, the guy before me took Travis Kelce.
Okay, this is weird because the same thing happened in mine.
Yeah, the guy before
Really?
me also took Travis Kelce.
Wait, Chris, I want to do something really quick. I want to run through my first 5 picks in my draft and see if they match yours.
They're not, because there's a couple of wacky ones, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, first overall was Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Second was Austin Eckler.
No.
Okay.
Jamar
Third was Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Tyreek Hill.
Fourth was Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Cup.
5th was Travis Kelce. Ooh, Cup.
Yes.
And 6th was
McCaffrey.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and the rest are weird in
Eckler.
this league. Yes, actually, for me, the 7th pick was Austin Eckler. The 2nd pick, this guy took Josh Allen. The 2nd overall pick. I mean, listen, I mean, we'll go through the next round, but
Our quarterbacks OP in your
Were they
league?
auto drafting?
so here's the weird thing. So this particular individual, like, auto draft the first pick. So I don't know, maybe it was like late getting there, but like the way the auto draft works, it would just take the next ranked player off the list, which was not by any means Josh Allen. So the only explanation is that he queued that up.
Yeah. He wanted.
But then he was
Josh
trying to say
Allen.
he didn't queue it up. So I don't know,
no.
man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So when we were going through ours, Josh Allen was like absurdly high
Yeah.
in the whatever the system was. So like he was always coming up. I can't even count, but that happened in my league too, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can't buy. Well, I'm not far off because I took my quarterback in the 2nd round, but I just don't think you can take a quarterback, regardless of who they are, in the 1st round, unless you're in some kind of weird league,
yeah, I mean, it depends on the weighting for the points for quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen isn't a bad pick. I mean, not a bad quarterback pick. I mean, that high, obviously, not the best pick, but, arguably he'll be top 5 quarterback this year. I'm sure he's on a mission to kind of correct what happened last year.
So this is what I would say, right? Like, when I'm drafting, I'm kind of looking at, like, what is the difference between this tier and that tier? Like, tier 1 and tier 2, right? So tier 1 quarterback, let's say Josh Allen, versus what you would get in the 2nd or 3rd round could be a Jalen Hurts, right? Could be, even a couple rounds later, you could get like Kirk Cousins, right? So it's like, that's not going to be that much better versus what are you missing out on with the 2nd overall pick? You're missing Jamar Chase or McCaffrey or whoever, like Eckler. It's just, you're, I don't know. I can't even talk. It's just,
It does seem wasteful.
it happened, and I was just like, I immediately was like, I almost wanted to give the guy his pick back.
Like, you didn't
Like,
mean to do that.
Try again.
You get a mulligan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my strategy going into to drafts usually is I want if I can get one of the top running backs, like a nice like a dual threat running back like an Eckler or a McCaffrey or a Jonathan Taylor a couple years ago. That's like my priority because, you know, you get your cake and you eat it too. You get receiving yards, you get receiving touchdowns, you get rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So like I said, I drafted Hill. You know, I could have gotten like a Nick Chubb, who I think is going to be a beast this year. And I've always wanted Nick Chubb on my team. I've never had him on my team before. I just feel like he's such a consistent guy, especially with, he's the lead back there now. So, no handcuff really to slow him down this year. But
Yeah.
Tyreek was such a beast last year. And like you said, like he can drop 40.
Yeah.
So it's just,
His
Can't pass that
floor
up.
is high and his ceiling is literally the sky. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he's going to get you 10 at the very least, and that could be like that could be anybody throwing him the ball. He could get you 10 points. And his ceiling is, you know, 40 plus, depending on,
sure.
obviously on your league and the scoring system. But, you know, my point is he can go absolutely off.
yeah. So like my league, we passed a rule finally where we lowered the threshold for points for yardage. So instead of 50, it's, you know, you start getting points at 30. So, you know, he's a guy where he can get one catch for 30 yards, and there's three
It's on
and a
the
half
board.
points right there because we're half
Yeah.
per reception.
Yep.
All right, so let's go into our second round picks. So on the way back, I got a receiver, so I'm obviously eyeing a running back. You know, I was hoping maybe like a Bijan Robinson would fall to me. My dad snagged him though, so you know
When did your dad pick?
he drafted 8 out of 8. So he had and we do snake draft, so he had a twofer.
Yeah.
So he got Chubb and Bijan Robinson. So he's got two stud running backs. The guy before me took Tony Pollard, who I would not have taken anyway because I don't take Cowboys in my in
the
my
guy
drafts.
before me took Tony Pollard.
Yeah. So I drafted somebody who I've never had on my fantasy team before, Derrick Henry, which is funny because in our NFL episode, I said I picked him to be my bust this year. So I didn't take my own advice.
Better hope you're wrong.
Yeah, right. I mean, I could have taken like a Saquon or like a Josh Jacobs, but I don't know. I mean, Derrick Henry is just like he's just consistent, and I'm banking that this year maybe he's still a year away from maybe his decline, but I'm excited to have him on my team. I'm just hoping that, you know, I can trot him out there and he'll just get fed the rock like 20 to 30 times a game and rack up yards and touchdowns. So I'm thinking maybe, and even having DeAndre Hopkins there as a weapon for Tannehill will maybe open up the running game a little bit. So that was my pick in the second round. What about you, Derek?
Yeah. So you had a wide receiver in the first. You went for a running back. I flip-flopped that, right? So I got Bijan Robinson. And on the way back, I got none other than Devontae Adams, otherwise known as the man who carried me to the league championship last season.
There we go. Okay.
There were at least 3 weeks where the only reason that I won was because he just absolutely went off. So I'm glad he was available when I was coming back through and snagged him. What about you, Chris?
So I was texting you guys during the
Yeah.
draft. I kind of got pushed into this only because of how many quarterbacks were going off the board, like in the first and second round. So I took Jalen Hurts. I have a healthy share of Jalen Hurts. He's my quarterback in all leagues. I am
Nice.
absolutely riding this train, and I will die by the sword that is Jalen Hurts. So yeah, I mean, again, this is a high scoring league. It's a very, you know, point happy league. So quarterbacks that can run are like, you know, super valuable because I get all those yards, all of them. So, you know, he runs for 30, 40, 50 yards. That's a couple extra points. Plus there's huge bonuses for, you know, throwing over 300 yards. And, you know, you gotta trust in the birds. So
Oh, listen.
that was my pick.
Yeah, I mean, can't bet against Jalen. I mean,
Yeah, I can't
Nah.
fault you for that.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I'm biased, but
Especially, I will say, and this might make the rest of the draft invalid, but somebody in this league took Kenny Pickett in the first round. I'm just saying. You always have one that's just like, is this person like, do they watch football? Are they coherent right now?
Are they a Steelers fan?
I mean, I would say if you're taking Kenny Pickett in the first round, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this person, but I'm pretty sure you have to be a Steelers fan.
I mean, there's better Steelers players to take in the first round, but that's hilarious though. All right, so moving on to the third round. On the way back, I had to wait a while. I didn't really have a strategy going into this pick. I was like, I'll just take whomever I think is my best option. So I ended up getting one of those dual threat running backs I referenced earlier, Travis Etienne out of Jacksonville. I had this guy last year. I love him. He's, again, dual threat. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can rush. Dougie P likes to run those backs into the ground, so I'm just hoping that kind of more of the same this year. He just gets fed the rock and gets a lot of touches, whether it's through the air or on the ground, and racks up a lot of touchdowns. So I could have gotten like another receiver to go with Hill, but again, I just like the dual threat through the air and on the ground with a running back. So that is who I got with my third pick. How about you, Derek?
Yeah, so since I drafted 8th, I had to wait even longer to come back around to me. But last year, I leaned so heavily on Devontae Adams just popping off, and he didn't really have any other help. So in the third round, I took DJ Moore. So I got another wide receiver to fill out the roster there.
The only thing I hate about that, not for you, but just in general, is I just don't draft bears. You know what I mean? Like, I just won't anymore. I've gotten burned by like David Montgomery, who is a good running back, but just on like that dog shit offense, 2 years ago.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson. Like, they just, I mean, I DJ Moore's legit. I don't know. I can't, you know what it is? And then it's like, then I gotta kind of watch some of the Bears games. And I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, the Bears might be fun to watch
give me the
this
warm
year.
fuzzies.
I mean, Justin Fields maybe he'll take a Jalen Hurts type of leap this year. I mean, he's got the same kind of skill set as Jalen. So
settle down.
I mean, it's similar. I don't know. That could. I mean, listen. I hope it pans out for you. It could be good, but it really is going to come down to Fields if he can pass effectively and consistently.
Here's a good thing. I will tell you this: when you have a receiver on a shitty team, that's good, right? When you have the wide receiver one on a shitty team, that's good because game script, they're probably going to be losing a lot of games and they're going to need a pass. What I really hate is running backs on terrible offenses. I do not like investing in that because, like, the game gets out of hand and then they're obsolete.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, they just always feel desperate at that point.
Yeah. Who did I? All right, so my third round. I took DK Metcalf.
DK.
I don't think I've ever had him. So here's a guy kind of like you, Ryan. I've not had on any fantasy team ever. So I was like, let's just see. My only concern is I wasn't like in love with this pick, but it was like kind of the pick that had to be made, based on who was taken, and like T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle went like right before guys that I would have liked to have. So, again, he's the wide receiver one. I think Lockett's going to get more volume, but you can't really argue against a guy that's like 9 feet tall and just like, you know what I mean? Just like huge.
He might be the most chiseled person he might be the most chiseled player in the NFL.
Maybe, but I like Geno Smith too. So I mean, I'm confident. I think this is a better year for him. I know last year he was definitely boom or bust, which those kind of guys pissed me off, but we'll see. I don't think it was, it wasn't him. I think it was more, his involvement and just like the, I don't know, kind of the scheme that they were running, but I feel like Gino's got to let that thing fly. Just throw contested balls to DK all day long.
He's just one of those guys that, like, when he's covered, he's open. Just like
Exactly.
he's going to win most of his one-on-one matchups. Like these cornerbacks are like toddlers to him. Like he's going to be jumping over them, pushing them around. Like he should be
rip it down out of the air.
Yeah, I mean, he should be getting close to like 10 catches a game. Just feed him the rock. Honestly.
That's how I feel. So, and I'm going to feel more that way now that he's on my fantasy team.
Well, I hope it works out for you. So speaking of Devontae Smith, on the way back, I picked him up with my 4th pick, which, you know, I always need to have an eagle on my team, and I was happy to land him because, like I mentioned, Derrick Henry was my bust pick. Devontae was my boom pick, and I am really excited for him this year. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. Maybe even better than AJ Brown on paper by the time the season's over. We'll see. But he's
gonna be bigger than AJ Brown by the end of the season. That's for sure.
You think so?
No.
You mean like muscle?
Yeah, I was kidding.
No, he's
I like that pick.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
I like that pick.
So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, and my dad before me picked Cooper Kupp, and that was actually who I was eyeing up on the way back. And you know, thank God I didn't get him because we don't even know if he's playing at this point. So yeah,
I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go on IR. To be honest. And then
that sucks for Cooper.
I don't know. And then you know what? He's gonna go on IR, and then they're gonna get their ass whooped for. They're gonna be like 0-5. You know what I mean? And then they're gonna shelve him.
Oh man, that sucks. I mean, I know he was going high. People were banking on a bounce back year, even if he missed that first game. But yeah, it's so foggy now. Like, what's gonna happen?
It is foggy, but he still went at a highly discounted rate. I mean, if there are no injuries involved whatsoever, Cooper Kupp is in my opinion, the 2nd or 3rd wide receiver.
Oh yeah, for sure. If there's no questions or injuries, like he's going to get fed for sure.
We don't know if Matt Stafford's going to be alive back there or not, but so I think that's another big question mark. But if he was perfectly healthy, I would take him over Jamar Chase.
Really?
And I was the unfortunate. In one league last year, I had Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp, and for the first like 3 weeks, I ate.
Oh yeah,
and then once he got hurt, I was no longer eating.
That's outrageous. You had him as a keeper, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I had I think I had Cooper Kupp as the keeper at like 3rd round value from the prior season, and then I had the first pick with Justin Jefferson or something like that.
That's disgusting, man. That's so gross. Derek, who did you get in the 4th round?
So, dear listener, what you need to understand about my strategy for this draft, and in fact, all drafts I've participated in before and after this one, is I don't have a strategy. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no football knowledge. I have no player knowledge. Like, I am just picking a position and seeing who's still on the board.
All right, let's hear it. I'm curious.
I'm excited for
Kenneth Walker III.
Ah, there we go.
So I figure, I've got 2 wide receivers at this point. I've got Bijan hanging out. He's lonely. Let's take another running back.
Dude, Kenneth Walker's a stud if he stays healthy.
Yeah, that's not a bad. Kenneth Walker as your RB2 is not bad.
No, not at all. He could be I mean, if he stays healthy, he's going to be good. That's what it comes down to because Seattle loves to run the ball.
Yeah, he's an RB2 with like RB1 upside because of just like how mean that guy runs. He's like, you remember like Chris Carson is just the dude that just bullies.
Yeah, dude. And he's another that situation where it's not like I don't think he has it's not a running back by committee. Like I don't think there's another running back that's really breathing down his neck. If I'm thinking correctly, like I'm pretty sure it's mainly just he's the featured back and he's not going to be splitting.
He's listed at 5'9", 211.
Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, holy shit.
Tank. Absolute tank.
I'm getting out of the way of that.
Tank.
Okay. So my 4th round pick is Travis Etienne. I agree with Ryan. So I was, as I said earlier, I was holding out on running backs for kind of as long as I could until I started seeing some of the guys I was targeting kind of coming off the board. So I took him. Again, it's a high-scoring PPR league, so I like that dual threat back. I like Jacksonville's offense this year. I think they're going to be good. And I like Doug Peterson, and I liked ETN's usage last year. I was the unfortunate owner of James Robinson last year. I got him like super, super late, just kind of on a whim. I was like, yeah, let's see. And I thought that they would be like a 1A, 1B vibe, but like ETN was the guy. So I'm hoping that he only gets even more love this year. So I felt good about that. He'll be my RB1. Actually, Jalen Hurts will be my RB1, but ETN will be my RB2.
Okay, good pick. So, yeah, we're on the same wavelength, it appears. All right, so round 5. I mentioned I was happy to draft an Eagle, and I drafted another Eagle with the 5th pick. The one, the only Jalen Hurts.
Let's go.
The first
There
quarterback
he
taken
is.
in this draft, and I was so happy to take him. I was on the fence. I was like, should I wait to get him on the way back? Because it was only going to be 4 picks between me and my next pick. So I was like, do I risk it? Because I could have gotten like a J.K. Dobbins or like an Amari Cooper. But I was like, I can't risk it because I could see the look in my dad's eyes. He was like, Jalen Hurts. So I jumped on that shit, and I don't regret it whatsoever. Obviously, him and Devontae, I'm hoping that connection just rewards me with points on points on points all year.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's always the concern, right? Is you're like, can I wait till the next round? I think you probably could have. The buffer there would have been, I would have expected in a normal league to see Mahomes go. And then once Mahomes goes, that was like basically like my cue to like, okay, like Josh Allen went, Mahomes went. I was like, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
So I kind of just let the draft dictate when I take my quarterback, but I know who I'm targeting. And like you, I'd rather be around early and get them versus around too late and miss, you know?
It's funny you say that because like I drafted him. The next quarterback wasn't taken until almost at the end of the 6th round. So like me picking Jalen didn't trigger like a run of quarterbacks.
That's weird. Well, you said how many people are in this league?
It's 8.
Okay, yeah, so it's a healthier draft. I think that's probably why. In a different
Probably.
draft, that's not. I mean, I think that's old school thinking to wait till like the 7th or 8th round to start taking your quarterbacks. I think there's just some seriously elite quarterbacks these days. And there's a huge difference between a Mahomes, a Hurts, and then like we talked about the next tier below. You know what I mean? Like Jared Goff versus Jalen Hurts. The ceilings are quite different. So I think, with the evolution of the dual threat quarterback, I think it's more important to take them a little bit higher than, we used to. I mean, I'm thinking even back 10 years ago, my God, I would just wait and take like, who the hell were some of the quarterbacks I was rocking? Just some dog shit folks. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
shit.
God, like Andy Dalton vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because we didn't
Andy Dalton
care.
one year, yeah.
Because if you didn't get like Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, it was like just wait for the trash.
How do you feel about me saying that DeAndre Swift was picked before Jalen Hurts in this draft?
Again, I mean, it seems like the draft was going that way. I mean, listen, if you can, as long as you can wait to draft your quarterback, that's great. But like I said, in certain leagues, your hand's gonna get forced earlier than others. And in my league, it was forced in the 2nd round. But if quarterbacks aren't going, I'm drafting position players all day long until I start to see Pat Mahomes go, then I'm on Jalen Hurts, and that's gonna be me the next forever years. I'm only drafting Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I mean, my team name, we'll get to that later, but my team name is revolves around Jalen, so I need to keep it going.
Nice.
All right, Derick, who'd you get in the 5th round?
Well, speaking of the draft informing what I'm going to pick, and speaking of always having an Eagle on my team, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, we're twinsies.
Went in the 3rd round to an auto pick, so I did not get him. This is now 3 rounds later.
That was mean.
You got me.
So there was like a big run of quarterbacks in the 3rd and 4th. 5th auto draft again started with a bunch of tight ends. So, in keeping with always having an Eagle on my team, Dallas Goedert was who I should have picked. I admit it. I should have picked him. I did an oopsie with my mouse.
Oh, no.
And I clicked the name directly below it.
Oh, God. Who is
which
it?
is Evan Ingram.
Okay, that's not
I feel
bad.
okay. It feels all right.
No,
But it could have
like
felt
him.
better.
Not bad.
He just got paid, so you best believe they're going to use him. He just got paid, so I like
So
guys
funny.
that just got paid because you know they're going to get force fed the ball.
Or are they going to... Oh, yeah. I mean, true. They're going to get force-fed the ball. I guess it's different than other sports where, they're going to get, like, fat and lazy,
Hey.
you know?
Dude, Doug
gonna-
likes his tight ends. Doug likes his tight ends, so I'm a fan. I actually have Evan Ingram in one of my leagues, and I felt good about it. So I don't think that's a misclick. I don't think it's a misclick.
It's a misclick in my heart. What about you? Who went in
round
the 5th round?
We're in the 5th. Okay, so the 5th round in this league, I took my wide receiver 3, which will be Christian Kirk. So speaking
Okay.
of Jacksonville, I'm investing in Jacksonville.
In Doug, you trust.
Yeah, Christian Kirk, he's going to have Calvin Ridley as the 1, so I think Christian Kirk looks even better this year because he's not going to be, spotted by the cornerback 1 for the defense. So I think having more talent in the wide receiver room is better for like your wide receiver 2s, because that's what Christian Kirk is. He's not really like your team's best wide receiver. He kind of fits in this role, and that's kind of where he excelled in Arizona, is like in that 2 spot. So I'm happy. I hope Calvin Ridley still can play football, which I think he can.
I think 1 year off, he's going to be fresh, and he's still young, so
Yeah.
it'll be good. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to take a big leap this year. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence
I do
fan.
too, because again, I'm putting a lot of faith in Doug Peterson for obvious reasons, but I think you're right. I just hope he cuts down on like the turnovers, like the picks. I mean, that's any rookie. The young quarterbacks, that's typically the progression is just got to dial back the turnovers.
Yeah.
Keep the ball a little bit longer so our fantasy players can score.
Yeah, throw it to your team, not the other team.
Exactly. It was throw to the guys that I have in my lineup specifically.
Yeah, throw some screens to NTN for me too. I mean, they would benefit me, and then
Yeah.
you can throw some love to Christian Kirk once in a while. All right, so 6th round, another guy that I've really never had. I don't think I've ever had this guy on a team either. Keenan Allen, Chargers receiver. I've always liked this guy. He's getting a little up there in age, but he's still productive. Still projecting to have close to 100 catches this year. The only concern with him, obviously, is injury. Hoping he can just stay healthy. I think Herbert is another candidate to have a huge leap, and another guy who got paid this offseason. So I just think this offense has a chance to be explosive. They have a new offensive coordinator, and I just hope that Keenan Allen reaps the rewards in this revamped offense, this high-flying offense. So we'll see, but I like Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 3 behind Tyreek Hill and Devontae Smith. How about you, Derick? 6th round.
Yeah, speaking of Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville and liking that connection, Trevor Lawrence is who I should have picked.
Oh, no, you did it again!
Well, Trevor Lawrence is who I wanted to pick. So, again, I mentioned that auto draft kind of started a run of quarterbacks in the 3rd and 4th rounds. It looks like I was one of the last 3 people to pick a quarterback. And in the time it took to snake back to me, somebody took Trevor Lawrence. So I went for the next best option, which was Daniel Jones.
DJ.
Danny Dimes.
I don't feel bad about the pick. I would have felt better about it in the past. But what I realized is I just don't like watching this guy play. I just don't. Period.
I agree.
That's it.
I don't think Giants fans like watching him play. But
It's fair.
yeah. And he got paid too, right? This offseason?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So who knows? I feel like his ceiling is so limited. But and he was, and remember they reached for him in the draft. Like when he was drafted, it was a big reach.
Here's
on their
the
end.
thing. He can run, so you have that benefit. I just don't know. So he's got Darren Waller there, so he's got a new toy to throw the ball to. But I have not liked the Giants' ability to assemble receivers. They just have they blew their load on Kenny Galladay. That bit them in the ass royally. But I mean, who do they have? Like Darius Slayton?
They had Tony.
Is it Wan'Dale Robinson? There's a Jalen Hyatt, I think is his name, the rookie.
Yeah, they like him a lot apparently.
I
He's
have
a
him in
rookie.
my dynasty league, yeah, but I just, again, like there's no just like, other than Darren Waller, there's like no solid receiver there that you can just go to and just keep feeding. So that's the only thing I don't like. And Daniel Jones kind of, sometimes he does like some goofy shit, but
when Chris said he can run, Ryan, you giggled a little bit.
Yeah.
Was there something particular that came to mind?
Well, I'm thinking of the Eagles game a couple years ago where he is like about to score a touchdown. He trips over a blade of grass and just he's wide. There's no one within like 20 feet of him, and he just like trips and falls. Like it was just That's
I
what
was
think of
talking
whenever
about
they
that
give
with
him.
my coworkers yesterday because I was venting about how much I don't like watching him play. I was
He's
thinking about
such a
that too.
He's like like the Giants can only have goofy quarterbacks like between him and Eli. Like it's a goofball organization.
Yeah, as soon as
Yeah.
I saw you giggle, I thought that's what you were thinking of too.
But he can get you he can get you some points with his feet, and he is a candidate to score some rushing touchdowns. So I don't think that's a terrible pick, although I don't personally like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Round 6.
All right, so I ran it back with some more Eagles.
Damn.
I missed on Devontae Smith, who I had last year with Jalen, and I obviously missed on A.J. Brown, so I said, let's go for Dallas Goedert.
Damn.
What could have been for Derick?
So I did not misclick, and I took Dallas Goedert. I needed one Jalen to insert name Eagles receiver connection on my team,
Yeah.
so I took Dallas. Which is that is such a great feeling when you have the quarterback receiver, you know what I mean, combo. So it's like you just instantly get 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
So the quarterback gets, I believe, still 6 for the touchdown. Dallas Goedert would get 6 for the touchdown, plus the point for the catch, any of the yards. So it could be like a 15-point swing on one play.
Yeah, no, I love Dallas. I mean, the only thing I don't like about Dallas Goedert is that his name's Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
It's the only thing that's wrong with him. But he's a stud. I think last year was kind of a breakout year for him. Then he got hurt, unfortunately, and missed a few games. But
Yeah.
I think this year, they're gonna have to, spread the ball around. Jalen's gonna spread the ball around, so he may not put up like Kelsey-like numbers, which he's not gonna put up Kelsey-like numbers just because he's not gonna get as many targets, but could get a lot of touchdowns though in the red zone.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute red zone target for sure, and he's a guy that'll get you like 4 for 40, which from your tight end spot, I'm okay with that because Travis Kelce came off the board, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, Pat Fryermuth, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, so he was like
Wow, he was that low?
Yeah.
Wow.
But once I saw that run going, I went for him because, everyone knows tight ends dry up real fast. After like the first 6, there's just trash.
That's a steal then, because I feel like he's better than like half those guys you just mentioned.
He can be, but he's not like a name though. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's one good year away from being like a name that people
exactly.
grab.
He doesn't have like that curb appeal kind of vibe, but listen, I love him because, well, I'm an Eagles fan.
All right. 7th round. I didn't really have a strategy. I'm just going to try to pick someone who I think is the best player available for my squad. I was going between 2 players. I ended up going with Isaiah Pacheco from Kansas City. Killed the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs running backs are like always hit and miss. Like, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been an absolute bust for them since they drafted him, and they've never ran the ball really well. Although they committed to running the ball a little more last year, and it paid off in the playoffs for them especially. So I was hoping, I'm hoping that Pacheco is the lead back and gets, they give him the ball a little more, maybe like between the tackles and also, getting the ball out of the backfield. I know they have McKinnon, who's going to be kind of the third down back, but I've got high hopes for Pacheco. I was going between him and Miles Sanders because Miles Sanders is obviously the lead back in Carolina now, and he doesn't really have anyone that's breathing down his neck. He's coming off a career year with the Eagles, and I think Frank Reich is the coach there. So I heard someone say Frank Reich's never had a running back that has rushed for under 1,000 yards in his offense. So, we'll see if I regret that pick or not. As of this recording, the Chiefs have played 1 game, and Pacheco did not have a good game. So it's 1 game. I'm not panicking. I'm still going to start him next week probably, but I'm hoping that, he gets fed the rock a little more moving forward. Derick, what about you for pick number 7?
Yeah, at this point, I'm looking for a backup running back. And for me, with the 80th pick overall, I went A.J. Dillon out of Green Bay. How far are we into your draft? Like, I've got 12 players. That was the 80th overall pick. So yours must be. I can't do that math.
When I picked Pacheco, that was the 54th pick in the draft.
Wow.
Jeez.
See, then that's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You said 8 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because most leagues are 12 or so. So yeah, that's a huge difference. That's why, like, when he showed me his team, I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, there's still.
I
there's
immediately
still a lot of
called
studs.
him out. I was like, "Yeah, this is a small league for sure." But again, I don't know. Ryan and I are kind of having the same, like, this is like some telepathy or whatever that is. I also took Pacheco.
Nice.
This is going to be a bench spot for me because I do have in this league, I'm only starting 1 running back. I like this league because it's very free and the flex can be, anyone, tight end, receiver, running back. And there's a couple, so there's I think I can start 4 receivers and 1 running back. So he's going to be a bench spot. I agree. I think he runs hard.
Yeah.
I like running backs on good offenses, right? Mm-hmm. You got to think he's going to get quite a bit of goal line looks. I'm sure he's going to get, Andy likes throwing the ball, so he's gonna draw some shit up, especially if they continue to play how they did and the receivers are like dog water. They're gonna have to get the running backs involved with pass catching even more. The only thing I don't love is the Chiefs are like one of those teams where even when they're up big, they're still trying to pour it on. So they don't really go into you know what I mean? Like game script for a lot of teams are just, run out clock. You can get a lot of garbage time out of the running backs on good offenses, but the Chiefs don't really do that. Yeah. And I agree. It's super hard to predict any of the Chiefs running backs because I swear to God, it's entirely dependent on what Andy Reid ate before that game. And, that changes so much that, like, you can't predict what the running scheme's going to be because you're right. Like, Pacheco he didn't look like shit, but he didn't do anything last night. But next week, he could honestly have, like, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to ride with him still. In that offense, they're going to be in the red zone a ton, and he's going to get opportunities. But Andy still... And as great as he is as a play caller and a coach, he still overthinks short yardage. Like there was a play in the game last night where it's what was it, fourth and 1 or third and 1, and just do a sneak. Honestly, a QB sneak with Mahomes or hand it off to Pacheco, and he's doing some razzle dazzle shit with the fullback like coming in to take the snap, and they do an end around like handoff. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Andy? You just can't shake that.
I know what the Eagles would do.
Oh yeah, they're pushing Jalen's butt across the marker.
Yeah, they are.
Wait, Derick, who did you say you picked with the 7th pick?
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon. Okay, yeah, the bane. I had Aaron Jones last year. He was the bane of my existence.
Fuck, I gave up on Aaron Jones. I was invested in Aaron Jones for so many years, and I finally gave up on him because I cannot deal with LaFleur. He is such a bitch. Like, give the ball to Aaron Jones, all right? Give the ball to Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is awesome, and
he is, and LaFleur is such a...
Yeah, it's the most frustrating running back situation in the NFL, besides maybe the Patriots, but the Packers are all like Jones. If Dillon wasn't there, Jones would be like would be a first round pick. For sure.
I think he'd be top 5 running back.
Yeah, he's just a stud. All right, let's get this moving along. So, round 8, I drafted a tight end, Darren Waller.
Nice.
The Giants' new toy for Daniel Jones to throw to, and he was, believe he was the 3rd tight end taken. Kelsey and. Sorry, the 4th tight end. It was Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle. I took him. I just think he's going to be the focal point of the offense. Who else is Daniel Jones going to throw to? And of course, I'm on Twitter today, and Schefter tweets out Darren Waller questionable with a hamstring injury, and I'm like, here we fucking go.
This is the year of hamstrings, dude.
It's just so dumb. Like, I'm sure he'll be fine, but they play Sunday night, so I'm like, come on, like.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Sucks. So, Derick, 8th pick. Who'd you grab?
I picked up a wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, on the Steelers.
Deontay, he's been on my team in the last 3 years.
Oh yeah, I had Waller last year, so please enjoy him.
That's unfortunate. Hopefully he stays healthy, but. Yeah, Deontay's a solid pick, though. He gets a ton of targets.
So, speaking of hamstrings, because of Jerry Jeudy's injury, this is kind of the part of the draft where I start to swipe up some wide receiver ones that are kind of flying under the radar. So I took Cortland Sutton with this pick. He is going to have to be the wide receiver 1 with Jeudy's injury. And I actually think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think Russell Wilson is still going to be shitty, but not as shitty. He can't be worse than he was last year. I do trust Sean Payton in that sense. So I took Cortland Sutton. He's a bench spot, but he's a guy that could on a bye week could sub in, or if he gets hot, you know what I mean? I could put him in somewhere in the mix there. So we'll kind of see. Or he could be trade bait later in the season.
Yeah, he could be. Look, Denver can't be any worse than they were last year. So
exactly. So I'm investing.
Yeah, cool. All right, so 9th round, and at this point, I'm just looking at guys that could maybe fill in a flex spot or a spot start here and there, depending on matchups or injuries or bye weeks. So in the 9th round, I got myself a receiver, Michael Pittman from the Colts, who has all the talent in the world. He's young. It's just a matter of the quarterback. They have Richardson there. who's a rookie. Is he going to be good? I have no clue. They like him. Pittman, I think, has got a lot of potential this year. And a pick like this late in the draft, is a pick that can win the league. So I'm hopeful that he can get some sort of connection with Richardson or form a connection with him over the first few games and become a sneaky stud for me this year. What about you, Derick? 9th round.
I took a running back here, so I went Jamal Williams from the Saints.
Ooh. That's a good pick. I was trying to get him. I actually love that pick.
I do too.
That's that's a potential RB1. You know, you have Kamara's suspension, but Jamal Williams is a goal line fucking touchdown vulture.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, you do not want the other running back on Jamal Williams' team because no matter where he is, he's stealing touchdowns.
Yeah, he's awesome. And Derick, I don't know if you're aware, but he is a huge anime fan. Like, he talked about it during his press conference. Yeah. I saw a video where he was signing autographs in exchange for anime memorabilia. Yeah, kids brought like Pikachu plushies and like Funko Pops, and were trading them for autographs. This guy's such a fucking nerd. I love him.
Oh yeah, he is.
Future guest,
he's one of
maybe.
Us.
And that is the 104th overall pick. That's where we're at now for me.
Wow, that's a good pick though. He's going to be a beast.
All right, what round are we in?
9.
We're in the 9th.
All right, so again, I'm still trying to flex on everyone and steal wide receiver ones. So I took a sneaky pick here. High upside, fairly risky, but I don't really give a shit. I took Michael Thomas because I'm that guy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pick.
I'm starting in week 1. As like my 4th wide receiver. I did this last year, and I got like 2.5 solid weeks out of him before he just left for the rest of the year. So, you know, I'm optimistic that maybe I can get 4 weeks out of him this year before he just leaves for the rest of the season. But even if I do at this point in the draft, like that's, you know, if I can win 3 of those 4 weeks because of him, then, you know, that's all I really need out of him. But, I mean, gosh, if this is a guy that can play the whole season as my 4th wide receiver, I mean, he's 30 and he's not played football really in a while. And he's had like every injury known to man, but let's not forget, he was elite. Yeah. And, you know, they got Derek Carr now, so I feel good about their quarterback situation in that regard. So,
yeah, and that Olave kid, like they like him a lot. Yeah. He'll be opening the field up for Thomas. He's a possession receiver. He'll be getting slants. He'll be catching like 20 slants a game. All right, so round 10, and again, I'm just looking for players that can fill my flex position spot starts. So I grabbed David Montgomery, the new Detroit running back, and I'm hoping he can fill in that Jamal Williams role from last year and just like be the goal line back. And judging by his performance yesterday and the way they used him, that's exactly what he's going to be. And you know, Gibbs is going to be probably going to get more opportunities down the stretch, but I really liked what I saw out of him yesterday and the way they used him. So I didn't draft him as a starter, but he started for me this week in week 1. So he'll probably be a starter for me moving forward until something changes with his workload. What about you, Derick?
I went another wide receiver. I went Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnston.
I don't even know who that is.
Who's he with?
So that's about where we are in my draft right now.
Oh, no.
I don't know these names.
Mm-hmm. What team's he on?
Chargers.
Okay. So Chargers offense.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't envision him seeing a lot of play on my team.
Hey, he could win you the league. Who knows? maybe Keenan Allen gets hurt or something, or Mike Williams gets hurt and he steps up and kills it for you. Who knows?
How about you, Chris? We're around 10, right?
All right, 10th round. So this is where, again, I'm going for handcuffs. I'm going for young guys with big upside. So I took a rookie here from Miami, Devon Achane. He is their running back. He's like a scat back, so I feel like he's got a lot of upside in this league as a pass catching back. He's a small guy. He's got like insane speed. I think he ran like a 4.3 something if I remember correctly, or something like ridiculous.
He's fast.
So I took him, and like I said, I like Miami's offense, and he's a rookie, so you're not looking for much early in the season, but towards the middle to end the season, he could be quite beneficial. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
All right.
see.
So from here on out, let's just go through lightning rounds here, since we're basically filling out our bench at this point.
Got it.
So 11th pick, I got I guess you say Jahan Dotson. I'm gonna say Jahan. Is it Jahan? Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, can you not say Jahan?
Yeah. Jahan.
All right, now do it as Kermit the Frog.
Jahan. Jahan.
I went Samaji Perine?
Yeah,
How do you say
that's
that?
good. Yeah, P. Ryan.
Yeah.
I took Sky Moore, who did nothing last night, but I predict will be better.
Sky with 2 Y's.
Yes.
12th round. Jamal Williams. Got him in the 12th round.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I went Chiefs defense.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I took a handcuff here. Rashad Penny.
Alan Lazard reunited with Aaron Rodgers.
I went Juwan Johnson.
I took my backup quarterback, Derick Carr.
All right. That was the 13th round. Now we're on the 14th round. I got Jalen Warren, who is the backup for Najee Harris in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I went with my backup QB, Sam Howell.
I took a defense here. I took the New England D.
All right. 15th round. I got Juju Smith-Schuster,
Ew.
aka the only receiver in New England that's worth a damn.
You bastard. We can't be drafting Juju as Eagles fans.
Oh, I can, and they're gonna light him up week 1. I'm predicting
just
a big
drop
hit
him.
over the middle.
Just drop him.
I can't drop him. Who else is he throwing to?
And for me, I've got Graham Gano.
Don't
So
you
at
know?
least I've got 2 Giants now.
In this spot, I took Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Great name. Love that name.
Love it.
All right, 16th round, I picked up my defense, the Saints defense, because they play shitty quarterbacks all year. So I'm hoping they feast on those shitty quarterbacks.
My draft was over after Graham Gano.
All right, it's Chris and I.
My last pick was Legatron, a.k.a. Greg Zuerlein.
Damn, he's still kicking.
He's still
Literally.
kicking. He's on the Jets now, though, so I feel good about this.
Yeah, man,
That's not bad.
That's a great fit. I got 2 picks left. 17th round, I got Joshua Kelly, who is the backup for Austin Eckler, who could be a beast if he gets hurt. And since you two are both done drafting, with the last pick of the draft, I drafted my backup quarterback, Jared Goff, who was a really sneaky good fantasy quarterback last year.
That's crazy that Jared Goff went in like the 18th round.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, here's the list of names that went in the 18th round in my league. We have Dalton Kincaid, who's the tight end in Buffalo,
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd, Leonard Fournette, who's a free agent,
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. He might get picked
Yeah.
up later on.
Dak Prescott, Gus Edwards, and this poor guy picked Jeff Wilson, even though he was hurt.
That's weird because by that point, well, obviously my draft's done, but it gets to people that are so obscure you don't even know their names.
Yeah, it's funny. Like a lot of these guys that we're drafting in the last round, like would be studs for you guys, like the middle of your drafts. But
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, this was something that I didn't see after the draft until just tonight. And it's a draft recap. and my projected record is 1-13, and I'm projected to finish last.
There's no way, man.
Oh,
What, they didn't like your Daniel Jones
there's a will,
pick?
there's a way.
Oh my god.
Bro,
So
that is
we'll see how
That's
that
brutal.
holds up over the
fuck-
season.
Yeah. Oh, there's your expectations are so low. You're gonna blow them out of the water. You're gonna get 2 wins. Damn it. You're gonna
Yeah,
double.
we'll
that.
see.
You might have noticed I didn't pick a kicker because we got rid of our kicker this year, and replaced it with a flex. So
I'm okay with that.
I'm very okay
Oh.
with that. I do not like fantasy kickers. They annoy the crap out of me.
See, in this league I'm in, kickers actually kickers can put up like 20 plus points.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Like
It
if you have
is,
Justin,
but it's
if you have
also
Justin Tucker,
kinda-
you're OP.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, dude, I played in leagues where you get one like defensive player. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then you get points for like tackles and sacks and shit, or like interception. It's like, some of it's creative and fun, but I'm not too into that.
The first league I ever participated in had defensive players, and I was like kind of new to the NFL at that time, and I was like, I only know Eagles players, so I got like Trent Cole, or I forget who. Dumb. I haven't done it since. It's I'm not a fan. All right. Well, before we close out here, let's each say our team names. Let's reveal the names of our fantasy teams this year. I'll go first.
Do you guys change yours every year, or have you been rolling with the same ones?
This is the third year, or this is the second year in a row I've had this name.
All right, go for it.
I usually, I've had the same team name because I've had the same player, but I don't have him this year, but I'm keeping the name.
Fair.
So my name, as I alluded to earlier, it's Hertz related, and it's Hertz So Good.
Yeah.
Yep, makes sense.
Very original.
I've not changed my name since I joined this league like 4 or 5 years ago. And when I was asked to join, I was watching The Office, and it just happened to be on some random cold open. So my team name is Poluticorn. Random niche reference from a cold open of The Office.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
that's classic you though. That doesn't shock me.
Right? What about you, Chris?
So my team name is named after when I had Cooper Cup. So I think I might keep it, but who knows? It's Cup Check. Good old Cup Check.
I love that.
That is
name,
very
man.
good. That's powerful.
Dude. That brings me back to Little League.
Yeah. Cup Check. Just start knocking everyone in the nuts.
You just tap someone's balls, and you're like, "Oh, do you have a couple on or not?"
Cup Check.
So
Yeah.
toxic.
So, and literally my profile picture, like, or whatever, my team picture is like
Yeah.
some like kid holding out a cup, like like an athletic
A
cup.
jockstrap. Yeah,
Yeah, just straight up. Like, it's just so weird. I don't know.
funny. All right, let's. You want to transition over to clocking out or off the clock? What we do? It's off the clock, right?
Yeah. Normally we don't let the listeners in behind the curtain like this, but sure.
Yeah. Felt
So
generous.
off the clock. What are you guys excited to do in the upcoming week after working hours?
Yeah, so for me, this is an easy answer. I have not been able to play barely any Starfield since it came out, and that's what I'll be doing for the next, for the next few nights. I'll be grinding Starfield so I can form my own opinion on it because I'm tired of reading other people's opinions on the social media and YouTube.
Yeah, on my end, I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. So that's exciting. It's only half an hour away, not too bad.
Nice. Yeah.
So I guess by the time the episode comes out, that will be all done and dusted. So congrats to Mike and Mrs. Mike. Right, you, Chris.
There you
This is
go.
Mike. Love it.
I don't want to dox people.
I think, I'm kind of with Ryan here. I want to maybe try Starfield a little bit more. I'm itching for a game to play, and I don't really want to play Starfield, but it's new and there's hype, so let me just try it, see if I can get into it. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Other than that, I'm just like dreaming of football. So I'm excited for the Eagles on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Football
if
Sundays
you
are back.
Tell. Go ahead.
No, I was saying football Sundays are back, and cannot wait.
Yeah, as you can probably tell from what we've been talking about in this episode, Thursday Night Football was last night, so we've already watched the first game of the season here. Now we've divulged our fantasy picks and how that has turned out. If you could pick another fantasy team, maybe that would be the three of us. We are 5 o'clock sweats on Instagram, at 5 o'clock sweats on X. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, anywhere you get your podcasts, and also YouTube. Anything else, boys?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. And, as always, stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.
Can't just be a normal intro. You got to do it as Kermit the Frog.
You don't want that. You don't want Jewish Kermit.
Why is he Jewish?
I don't know. I just feel like that's
Then
the
he
accent
really
I'm
shouldn't
giving
be
him.
with Miss Piggy.
I gotta hear like Patrick Mahomes talk really quick. Hey guys, hey, welcome to 5 o'clock sweats. Is that that's more like Al Pacino.
But somehow closer than it was before.
Well, he has like
You
that.
just got to put a little bit of Kermit the Frog in it. You're good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know if my vocal cords are capable of making that noise. Hey,
No, Patrick Mahomes.
The perfect
He just goes,
It's me. It's me, Pat.
Welcome to 5 o'clock sweats.
Canarius, that was the perfect pass.
Kadarius. You gotta catch the pass. You gotta catch the pass.